All right, so in today's lesson, what we are going to cover is the use of color inside of a flow, both for gradients, going from for any integer or number values to gradiate between those, as well as for categorical colors, both by assigning the categories within flow, as well as the ability to assign categories, or sorry, the color directly in a spreadsheet. So we'll cover those three topic areas for color. So just to quickly go through in like a very high level sprint to cover it, and then we'll go into a little more detail sort of step by step here. So first off, can everyone see my screen okay? I'll zoom in maybe a little bit further so the buttons are a little bigger there. Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, great. So for this, what I'll do is I'm going to select our global life expectancy data sets. And so this is a great data set to just start with. I'm still finding new ways to visualize this data set, to be honest. Even just today, I was experimenting with something new. So it's a pretty rich data set in the sense that it's fairly comprehensive of a lot of different types of data, where we have countries, so it is geospatial in that sense. You also have time series data, so it goes from 1850 till, I believe, 2010. We also encoded in here different events. So you'll see that, there's the First World War, influenza pandemic. So different things have been marked, and we can use those as labels throughout. So it's actually pretty rich set to practice on and learn with. So I'd highly encourage you to use that if you're just sort of wanting to explore a bit. So on this, to focus in on color, right now, everything by default is created as this green, the pure 255 green. And so by clicking on this color, we have the option to use this color picker, which is actually really helpful when it comes to, matching labels and things like that. And sorry, let me Bill here. And yeah, so for matching color and things like that, as well as you are able to select on the palette itself, or enter values manually. And so that's one direct way to change the color, but that's pretty straightforward here. But where it gets a little more exciting is, let me duplicate this step, and let me make sure to pause here real quick. I want to make sure to introduce Bill Morton, who is the lead trainer, and I accidentally left off of the invite to this meeting, hence why I was a little distracted here in the beginning. So sorry about that, Bill. I know we even talked about it, and for some reason I didn't send it. So Thank you for jumping on here. Bill, do you want to just say hello to?
Oh yeah, hi everybody. I'm sorry, I didn't remember the meeting. It wasn't on my calendar, so oh my gosh.
No, I do the same thing. If not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So I do not blame it all. Thanks for jumping on sort of last minute here. I was just doing a quick run through of color in just like a 5-minute, quick run. And then I figured you can take it more in depth and cover sort of more topics. So anyways, let me just to quickly finish off the three categories here. So we have the ability to assign a color directly. In addition, we have, when you click this drop down, gradient scale, as well as color scheme and hex by value. So gradient scale is reused for any integer values, essentially. So if I choose life expectancy as the basis here, I could go from, red to green as just like a very basic example. Now, it's not going to make much sense when it's just random like this, or the dots are in a random order. So we can actually start to plot these out in a more logical manner. And so I'll just do the very basic year on the width axis and height, or the life expectancy on the height axis. And so, yeah, so you're starting to see that gradient approach. And then the last approach here is to use a color scheme, and Bill will go into more details, on this, but essentially for any categorical variable, we can assign a column. So for this, if I chose continent as an example, now every continent has a color assigned to it. So if I break the depth out by continent, you'll see that each one has a different color associated with it. So there'll be more depth, and you can actually define your own color scheme directly in the user interface. And Bill will go probably more into that, but it's pretty flexible in that sense. So this custom color scheme you could use, or you could use any of the predefined color schemes that we have here in this little drop down. And we'll go further into that. But yeah, anyways, color is pretty powerful, in terms of being able to differentiate things, to add some level of understandability and additional dimension. We don't have the ability to do logarithmic color yet, or bivariate colors. But you can sort of do work around those manually by adding a color value directly into the data sets. So if it's ever a need, do reach out and we can work around that. So any questions or thoughts on what I just shared? Otherwise, I'm going to pass it over to Bill, who will take it through to the next level here.